Hello. Welcome to the Castle Grounds Lab. I'm Justin Wheeler, and today we are going to be installing Xiaomi temperature and humidity sensors and the top bars of our deep brood frames. Stick around. Hey guys, welcome back. Sorry for the cheesy intro, but sometimes things are just so wrong that they feel right. And like I mentioned, today we're going to talk about how we are going to monitor our hives' temperature and humidity. This year we're going to keep a few hives here in town in the backyard where we can keep a closer eye on them and refine some skills a bit, things like queen rearing and such. That's a little more time sensitive and a little more hands-on. So one of the things we wanted to do, and I won't get too in depth into why we're doing this, but we want to be able to monitor the inner temperature and humidity of our hives. So we are going to cut a notch in the top bars of our brood frames. We're going to recess these in, and it's just the right size. It can honestly be a little bit smaller, but it will fit perfectly within the frames, and it's actually so close that there's not going to be enough bee space between this frame and the next to where the bees actually shouldn't be able to get up into the sensor opening and block it off, which is pretty neat. So that should not be obstructed, but we'll see how that goes. These are Aqara temperature and humidity sensors. Like I mentioned, I've got these off of GearBest. It's kind of like a Chinese Amazon, and I've been testing them here in the house, uninstalled but connected for probably, it's going on 3 months now, and the data that you get is really, really good. You can see I have 4 of them here. I have 5 total. I'm going to have 4 installed in hives, and then I'm going to have 1 outside the hives just collecting ambient humidity and air temperature, and we're going to get some really good information. The way these communicate is via this multi-gateway hub. Basically, this is just the link between the sensor readings. This is the data collector, I guess you could say, and this communicates to your home's Wi-Fi, and then there's an app on your phone, and then you can see it remotely anywhere. So when I'm out of state for work, I will be able to see what the hive temperature is in all the hives and be able to make adjustments if we need to. The other neat thing about this is it's not just temperature sensors. This is a Xiaomi brand. Like I said, these are Aqara, but they actually work pretty interchangeably with other devices. So I could have these 5 temperature sensors out in the backyard monitoring the bees while also having window switches, door switches, smart bulbs in the house being monitored and controlled. And like I said, these are all wireless. They communicate via Zigbee protocol, which is fairly common in the home automation world. There is a range limitation, obviously. I don't know what it is. It's a couple hundred feet. I've gotten them 60, 70 feet away so far and had no problem. So getting to my backyard, to the house, won't be an issue. I don't have a very big backyard. They do operate from 4 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, which should be just fine for any colony that is surviving or that's there. I don't imagine that it'll ever be below 4 degrees or above 140. And they do run off of a 2032 standard battery. They're supposed to last for about a year. To take them off, you just rotate the back cover in and out, which is another reason why I'm just going to slide these in and do a little bit of a friction fit. That way, if the battery needs replaced, we'll be able to just pull the frame out, slide the module out, replace the battery, and we're good to go. I'll go ahead and show you guys now what the app looks like where the data comes in. It's not perfect. The data is not exportable like I would like, but it is good, accurate information. Here you see the home screen of the app. There's the gateway and the 5 temperature sensors. So I clicked on one of the 5, sorry, and you can see the daily log. It's current temperature and humidity reading. Jumping over to the weekly plot, you can kind of see the cyclical nature of the night temperature drops. Let's jump into the number 1 sensor. It's one I've had in the garage for a while, so significantly colder. You can see here on the month, it got really cold there about a week ago, and you can see that in the data. And you can pull that over to a week, and you can see how we can kind of scrub through the dates and times, and you have minute by minute data saved up to a month, not over a month, which is important to note. That isn't great, but you just got to check it every few weeks. And here you can kind of see how the automation is set up, and within that are the notifications. You can see I've got a cold and a hot alarm set up just as a test, and you can go back and see any time that you went over and under. And this is where you kind of set the if-then statements if you want to link multiple devices, and that's pretty much the gist of it. Works pretty well. All these sensors are very close to reading one another. I've kind of tested them in multiple environments. I've spread them out, put them close together, heated one up quickly, freezed one quickly, and they all function really, really well. I was really surprised. So I think that they're going to work out fine. The only thing I wish you could do from the app is export the data into a CSV or an Excel file, which you cannot. So I'm actually going to have to record the data manually. And there are ways around that, but it's kind of a hassle. So anyway, without much more talking, I'm going to show you guys how we're going to cut holes in these top bars and get the sensors installed. And in future videos, we'll talk more about why we're doing this, how we're experimenting with different types of beehive materials to kind of see which are the best, most conducive to bee efficiency. So for now, we're just going to go over how the sensors are going to be installed in the top bars, how they work, and we'll go into those other details a little bit later. So the first thing we're going to do is find the center of each top bar, and I dare you to make fun of the tape measure that my little children got me for Christmas. I am the dad that measures things. So it's about 19 inches, so we're going to mark it at 9.5. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but since we're going to install these in multiple hives and we're going to compare the data across a few different ones, we want to make sure that we control certain variables. So that's center. We'll mark the center going this way. These top bars, 3/4 of an inch total. All right, then we'll just trace out the best we can. Anyways, this part's not going to be perfect, but we're going to make the hole a little bit smaller than our mark. And then if we need to make it bigger, we can. One of the nice things is that these come with a little sticky adhesive ring on the bottom, so you could stick them on things if you want, but it also helps to kind of, gives you a little wiggle room, so you can make it a little bit bigger, and that'll compress some, so it's not going to be, doesn't have to be perfect. And then we'll just trace it. There we go. And we are going to be wiring these frames and putting in the Hexacell Better Comb from the Better Bee Company. So I don't got to worry about getting into this notch for like the plastic foundation. We're not going to be using that in this case. All right. So I took a 3/8 inch bit to kind of take a majority of this material out, and it's pretty much got a rough shape. I can see that, like I expected, I undermarked it a bit, but that's what I wanted. So now you can come in here with either a chisel to clean this hole out, which works fine. I'm gonna go with this square-edged file. That way I can kind of really get a tight fit without, you know, sacrificing quality. And I don't want this wiggling around. I want that to be in there tight, but I want it to come out also. And then you just test it after a while and you see how close you're coming. So we're getting there. Alright, so I didn't make you watch me file that out the whole time. It took about 5 minutes, but all I used was this file. I went nice and easy and slow. I'd file for about 30 seconds and test fit, and then ultimately came up with this nice snug fit. And then it's gonna fit right. See how that, well, I'm missing the vertical pieces, but it's gonna fit in there just right to where the button to program and the opening for the sensor and temperature and humidity, you know, receiver receptacle. I don't know what you call that. The hole in it, it won't be plugged up with propolis or anything because it should be, you know, so close to the other frame that nothing is going to be able to get in there and plug it off. I don't even think they're going to be that interested in it. And if we need to take it out, it'll just slide right out. So, and I didn't mention it, I meant to. These are super cheap. These are like 10 bucks each. Maybe $12 after shipping. The hubs are 20 to 30. This is obviously the most expensive part, but you only need one of these. They also have some cool vibration sensors that we're gonna try out. Maybe not this year. We're gonna try to focus on temperature and humidity data for now, but I'm gonna put some vibration sensors and some swarm traps around the house, and you can set alarms and notifications on parameters for the temperature sensors. If it gets below 40 degrees inside the hive, it'll send you an alert straight to your phone. It works really well. You can even do if-then statements and commands. If the temperature drops below 40, notify me, and then turn on another Xiaomi device, like a receptacle that turns on a fan, if you see where I'm going with that. And then the vibration sensor will be neat, because if we put it in a swarm trap, we'll basically get an alert wherever we're at that, hey, we've got activity in this box. Haven't tested that out yet, but that's coming too. So lots of fun stuff in the works. If you guys have any questions about these or want to know where to get them, I'll go ahead and put a link down below to where you can buy these. And I've also made another video going a little bit more into detail on how these work and which ones to buy, because like I said, these are from China and there are lots of different options. You want to make sure you get the US version, I guess. So anyway, as usual, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it.